Greetings from Yellowstone's northeast entrance, and welcome to another one of our virtual Yellowstone tours. Today I'm doing the really short stretch of road between the northeast entrance and the little communities of Silvergate and Cooke City. Silvergate is literally just a mile ahead of us, as you saw, and Cooke City is about 4 miles down the road. Both of these little towns started off as mining towns, although not silver mining towns as you might think from the name Silvergate. The town named Silvergate came from the belief that there was a silver haze hanging over the small community. It was also the gateway to Yellowstone National Park, and you can see we've just left Yellowstone National Park and we're entering the Gardiner National Forest on the way to the Beartooth Scenic Highway, and hopefully I have time in this short virtual Yellowstone tour to tell you more about that. You can see the sign ahead of us saying food storage required. There's a possibility of seeing bears anywhere in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. The fact that we're outside the park doesn't mean that you're not going to see bears. And what that sign was getting at was the need to be careful with your food. Bears have a much more developed sense of smell than humans do, and they're able to smell food from miles away. So people really need, particularly when they're out camping or barbecuing or having a picnic, to ensure that they pack their food away in such a way that it's not either accessible to bears or bears can't get hold of it and they can't smell it. If we have a look up to our left, we can see snags, and a snag, as you know by now, is a standing dead tree. Really cool shops and buildings here, aren't there? A snag is a standing dead tree from a fire that swept through there. Judging by the number of snags, I don't believe that that's the Great Fire of '88. Also, there's very little in the way of new tree growth, so that fire took place a lot more recently. I was talking about how Silvergate got its name, and we've just left Silvergate behind us and we're on our way to Cooke City. And Cooke City started off as a gold mining town. Though these days it's the main reason for its existence, apart from being at the north entrance of Yellowstone, the northeast entrance of Yellowstone, is that it's very much a tourist town these days. And in the winter particularly, it's a great place to come snowmobiling. I've mentioned several times on these virtual Yellowstone tours that very few roads in Yellowstone stay open on a year-round basis. As you can see, the area that we're coming through is pretty deserted, and the only way that in the winter months people who live in these two small communities of Silvergate and Cooke City can get out to buy groceries at a reasonable price, or do other shopping, or get services like a driver's license or social security, or go see a doctor, the only way they can do that is to travel through Yellowstone. So the road that runs from Yellowstone's north entrance to Mammoth, and by the way, take a look at a park map at our site, yellowstonetours.net/map. That's yellowstonetours.net/map, so you can get a better idea of where we are, and I'll drop a copy of the map in over here. If you look at the map and you look at the more or less the top right section, so in other words northeast, you can see where the northeast entrance to Yellowstone is, and I apologize for being Captain Obvious. But the road from the north entrance to Mammoth Hot Springs is always open, because Mammoth is the park's headquarters and you need to be able to access on it year round. But as we'll see, the road that's on the other side of Cooke City is called the Beartooth Highway, and there is so much snow here that the Beartooth Highway is closed during the winter, not only during the winter, but well into the spring as well. The volume of snow really has to be seen to be believed. So there's no ways for people who live in Cooke City to be able to get out of the park heading to the northeast and down to the southeast the way they normally would. If you go to the southeast, generally in a general direction, you'll come across Cody, Wyoming eventually, and to the northeast you'll come to Red Lodge. Well, you can't do that in the winter months because of the snow. So the Beartooth Highway is closed just on the other side of Cooke City, and if people need then to get services or a doctor or whatever it is, they have to travel through the park. So the road from the northeast entrance to Tower Junction, and you can see that running in a general from here east-west direction, is open, and then the road from Tower Junction up towards Mammoth Hot Springs is open, and the road, as I mentioned before, from Mammoth Hot Springs up towards the north entrance where Gardiner is open on a year-round basis as well. And as the speed limit drops to 25 miles an hour, we can see Cooke City ahead of us, and what you see is pretty much what you get. Some wag on an here it is. Is it still up? Yes, look at the sign. Isn't this classic? See that old building? And somebody has put up there, opening soon, Cooke City tuxedo rental and formal wear. In the middle of nowhere, in this small town, in that decrepit, somewhat run-down old building, which you can see the roof is about to collapse on. So, somebody with a sense of humour in Cooke City, you're much more likely to be wearing cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, and a belt buckle here than anything approaching a tuxedo. What you see ahead of us then is what you get. This is the small town of Cooke City. We've just passed the town hall and the Chamber of Commerce, and for the most part all that we see here are motels, restaurants, and the odd souvenir store. There is a gas station, as you see, coming up on the left. Odd place for a bar called Hoosiers. Hoosiers refers to the state of Indiana. But there's also a really cool place coming up on the left where most years I like to come and have some barbecue. There's actually two great barbecue places in town. This is one of them coming up on the left very soon. And these guys are huge Green Bay Packers fans, and you go inside and that's all you see are Green Bay Packers signs. For some reason a Super 8 went in here, which is the only major property in town. That is Soda Butte Lodge, as you can see, or maybe was Soda Butte Lodge. And then at the other end of town, just where you may be able to see the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, this is the end of Cooke City. This is all there was to Cooke City, and if we carry on along this road, we'll be on the Beartooth Highway. And this sign here, road not maintained, travel at your own risk, is mainly for the winter months when people come and snowmobile here. And I know that I started to tell you about snowmobiling and then I got sidetracked, and unfortunately we have come to the end of another one of our virtual Yellowstone tours. Thank you so much for joining me on this virtual Yellowstone tour. If you enjoy our virtual Yellowstone tour series, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Otherwise, see you in Yellowstone.